Hi, my name is Spencer Lane, and this is going to be the first episode of my podcast. Hopefully, this is something that I get to do for a long and fruitful time. I love talking, and I love talking about sports, which is what my podcast is mainly going to be about. Which sport is it? I can't tell you because I'm not going to box myself into only doing one sport. I grew up playing them all. I played baseball, basketball, soccer, tennis, golf. I learned how to ice skate. Didn't play hockey though, but basically, um, you name it, I've probably done it, or I've at least watched the sport or learned how to play and know a rule or two that would fascinate you. Sports has always been in my life, and it's something that I don't see a way of living without. I played sports growing up. It helped me make a lot of friends when I moved in middle school out to Palm Desert, Palm Springs, California, where I currently reside. But yeah, so just if you end up scrolling along this and want to take a listen, thank you for your time and welcome. There's no name, there's no super fancy technical stuff yet. If everything goes well and the progress is made, you'll see it eventually. This will be a hell of a day to look back on and see what rags to riches really looks like. But enough of the chitter chatter. Let's get into what a podcast is really about and talking about whatever topic we are, and that being sports. Me being a big football guy, I played a lot in high school. I got a scholarship to play in college. It's something that I love talking about a lot. Actually, not my favorite sport, but we can save that for another episode. But today, I just want to talk about the NFL and with the preseason coming up and all the training camps starting to slowly trickle in. I think it's time that I gave my input if I'm going to be doing this for a while. So, yeah, I'm going to be giving my division winners, who I think will finish second in each, and then I'll give my top seven and how I think the playoffs is going to pan out. Yeah, we'll start in the AFC. We'll go East, West, North, and South. Right? Okay. So let's start with the AFC East. I got Buffalo winning the division. Um, Personally, I think Von Miller is gonna do a lot of damage. I think people are overvaluing. I think people are overhyping the fact that yes, he is old, and yes, he's not gonna have Aaron Donald next to him and doing all this. But Von Miller, even in the prime of that Broncos defense that got him to the Super Bowls, yes, their pass rush was good, but it was really Von Miller and just a bunch of guys, a bunch of good guys, but not Aaron Donald type guys that he was always been playing with. It was the corners, it was the Aqib Talib, um, Chris Harris Jr. and Bradley Roby trio that locked down any offense. And I just think that on top of the Bills having the literally the best statistical defensive football last year, their only problem was generating pass rush. So why not go get a guy who's notoriously known for being a all-time first ballot Hall of Famer pass rusher? I think the OJ Howard signing is going to make a lot of good news and a lot of good noise in that camp. I think Dawson Knox is a good tight end. I like Gabriel Davis, but I think OJ Howard's going to add a nice dynamic of being able to run double tight and being able to sort of see what they could do with that offense. I know the run game is there, it's respectable, but it's not something that they can rely on to win them games. So I think getting yourself a second tight end, a fourth option, a fourth receiver, so to speak, will go a long way for them. Um, at number two, obviously, I'm going to take the Patriots. Honestly, I take the Patriots more because I trust Bill Belichick. I mean, they lost J.C. Jackson, but Belichick's an all-time defensive coach. You know he's going to put someone out there that we don't know that somehow is going to be a top 30 player in their position because Bill Belichick and defense, they go well. I don't trust Miami. I really don't. I think that would be the only team that people would look at and be like, "Oh yeah, what about them?" Like, yes, Raheem Mostert, great pickup. I'm a 49ers fan. I'm hot we lost him. I think it's a great pickup for Miami. Tyreek Hill, I think on paper sounds good, but I don't think that he's going to a quarterback, obviously, that's going to match what he likes to do. I think he would have done better actually in like a New Orleans environment where if you make him the number one there and you somehow convince Michael Thomas to tell him, look, you've been injured for too long, we need you to be the every other down guy, and we need Tyreek. You need to let Tyreek be the burner that you're not. I think that could be an interesting pairing out there, but oh well. He got to Miami, he got his bag. I'm not going to ever criticize anyone for chasing paper. That's what we all do in today's society, right? But I don't trust him. I think especially with hiring that first year head coach, I think he's a good offense. I think he's a good OC, but as a head coach, I'm not sure. I think that was more of a pressure hire due with everything happening with Brian Flores. And I think that that's not fair to him, nor is it fair to that roster, who have two top tier corners in Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. I mean, if you look at this roster on paper, they should be able to make noise, and they did last year. But right, they got bigger fish to fry than the NFL. I'll be honest at this rate. Just don't trust them. Don't have any faith or respect for them right now. Sorry. Yeah, let's go to the AFC West. Now, the AFC West, this is probably going to be the one where people clip, send me pictures, flame me, whatever you want to call it, how it happens, roast. I got the Chargers winning the division, man. I think it's time. I think Brandon Staley, now that he has another pass rusher, is going to be able to elevate this defense into what it should have been for the last 3-4 years. I think Khalil Mack is going to make this team really scary, like really, really scary. Because here's the thing, the Chargers on paper have always been a good team. You look at Justin Herbert, top 10, argue top 5, top 6 quarterback in football. Austin Eckler is a great player for that scheme, a great scheme fit. He reminds me a lot of just like a better Danny Woodhead. I think it's really cool how that works and that offense fits. Keenan Allen, some of the best hands in football, just a sure-handed guy you can count on. You got Mike Williams, another big-bodied boy who can do damage out there. Um, I think, yeah, and I also think that defense is, on paper, the defense has always been their problem. If the defense can actually play like it has people like Joey Bosa and Derwin James and now a Khalil Mack on their team, and some of the other good stars that they have, like a young Kenneth Murray and who is it, Nasir Adderley, their safety, like they have the pieces on paper to where they should be competing with the Chiefs almost every year, but it's just I don't know what it is. But I think this is the year where it all finally clicks together. I think Khalil Mack is going to open up Joey Bosa enough to where that defense can be top 3, maybe top 2, and not 2. I do genuinely believe that. On to number 2, second, I have the Chiefs finishing the division. And it's tough because the AFC West right now, you could take each of those teams, put them in a different division, and they're going to go win you that division by at least 2 or 3 games. I wholeheartedly believe that. The Raiders could go win the NFC East and probably get 13, 14 wins on their name. You go put the Broncos in either like the NFC, you put them in like the AFC South or maybe even like the NFC North. That's a spicy division if you put the Raiders in any of those. I just, someone's got to win, someone's got to lose, and I think that as good as the Raiders got, I don't like Derek Carr. I'm sorry. I like the offense. I really like the offense. I just you can't win in this league with a top 10 without a top 10 or a good quarterback. I won't say top 10 because I do think that you can win with probably a top 15, top 20, but you need someone who you can trust to get the job done. In fact, I'll go ahead and walk that statement back. You cannot win in this league without a top 10 quarterback in today's football. And I know this because as a 49ers fan, I've had Jimmy Garoppolo for enough seasons to know that any quarterback outside of the top 10 is going to get you nothing but disappointment and heartbreak. So that's why I personally don't see Derek Carr even better than Jimmy Garoppolo. People are going to argue me with that. I do not care. I think Jimmy Garoppolo has proven better. And even though I think he is a game manager to the umpteenth degree, I trust Jimmy G to manage a game better than I trust Derek Carr because I think on paper, the Raiders offense with Darren Waller, top tier tight end, and now Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow and Josh Jacobs, I think the Raiders have a better offense than we do, and I think that we would still finish better with them. I don't trust Derek Carr. I think Josh McDaniels is going to do good, but I think he's going to realize this is not his guy. Maybe in 2 or 3 seasons the Raiders become really legit contenders, but I'm sorry, not a Derek Carr fan. Um, yeah, going to the AFC North. Honestly, I have the Baltimore Ravens win this division. Big Lamar fan, can't lie. I like that defense a lot. I like John Harbaugh as a coach. Him and Kyle Shanahan cut from the same cloth. They'll grab guys like you and me off the street and somehow scheme them 80, 85 rushing yards in a game, and it makes no sense. It's something that will win you football games if you can do that. It's not supposed to work, but if it works, it'll always work to a T. And I think I believe that defense is going to be good enough to hold its own. Yeah, I think the Ravens are the only team in this division that's really going to be anything worth salt. Um, Number two, I got the Bengals. Congrats to them on making a Super Bowl. I got a buddy of mine who's a Bengals fan. Even he didn't think he'd get that far. So I knew Cincinnati was getting excited for the occasion with every game, and hell, I don't blame them. Kudos to them. Um, I think I think that was very much a stars aligning at the right time moment. I think Trey Hendrickson really caught wind on the back nine there and stepped up his game and made that defense respectable enough to where that offense could actually carry the team like it was built to do. Um, as you could tell, that defense will only get you so far. In the Super Bowl, look what happened. It was tough. They technically should have won, but in the last drive of the game, they let Matthew Stafford do the one thing he's been trying to do all season, and that's hit his boy Cooper Kupp. And I'm pretty sure they did 3 or 4 times that drive to win. I know game-winning touchdown for sure. So, feel me? I think the Bengals defense is going to get exposed a little bit. Um, yeah, I think Pittsburgh. I'd love to see Pittsburgh take second here. I don't trust Mitchell Trubisky much either as a quarterback. I think T.J. Watt's going to be doing a lot of carrying. It's a good defense. I just think that's an inconsistent defense that is blemished and covered with a lot of makeup by T.J. Watt, who statistically should be the single season sack leader right now in NFL history. Um, yeah. For the AFC South to round it all off, I got Tennessee winning the division. Derrick Henry finished fourth, fifth, and Derrick Henry was still top 5, top 6 in rushing yards and missed what, over half the season? I mean, come on, let's not lie to each other here. Yeah, the loss to AJ Brown gonna be tough. The loss to Julio gonna be tough. But at the end of the day, I don't think we're gonna get the Tennessee we saw last year, where they were the number 1 seed. I don't think Coach Vrabel's winning Coach of the Year. I don't think many coaches win back-to-back Coach of the Years. But I just think they're gonna take a step back, but I still think they're good enough to win the division. Like Harold Landry, Kevin Byard, one of my favorite players in football, I think is very underrated. Like him, Jarrell Casey. It's a good, honestly, it's a good roster on paper. I just Ryan Tannehill again. It's tough. You look at these teams that are built well. They have 51 guys that they can trust, but they need 1 or 2 of them holding that ball that they just can't seem to find right yet. So yeah, I got Tennessee at 1, and at number 2 I got Indy. Um, I personally, part of me is a little bit coin flipped on this because there's some times where I wake up or I'll talk to myself and I'll say, no, Indy's going to win this division. Quentin Nelson, Matt Ryan's, I think is an upgrade over Carson Wentz. I think he fits that offense well. I mean, I think he's going to be a better Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers was not bad in that offense. He wasn't crazy good, but I think Matt Ryan will be an upgrade over Carson Wentz overall. Jonathan Taylor led the league in rushing. You know, he's going to ball, great runner. That offensive line, as someone who used to play offensive line, I get jealous of those big boys moving other grown men around like that against their will. Quentin Nelson, go Google up Animal. You're going to see him smiling in the cold with that cutoff picture of him. Straight animal out there. DeForest Buckner, animal. Darius Leonard, animal. Okereke, the other linebacker, he's good. Kenny Moore had a good year. I think that Tennessee is going to lean on Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry is going to get him enough wins. I think they'll beat Indy twice to get this division title because of Derrick Henry. But I could also be easily wrong on this and wouldn't be surprised if I got this wrong. This is a coin flip. You got to pick one, right? All right, let's go to the NFC now. Going to the NFC East, I mean, if you pick anyone not named Dallas to win this division, I'm gonna mail you a drug test. So please get back to me on that if you do get one. Yeah, come on. I mean, who are we really fooling here? The Washington team is in the same boat as the Browns team, where their number one talked about person is the owner and the front office. You know, not the people that put the uniforms on and represent the team. The dudes in the three-piece suits behind the camera. Good times if you're ever in that situation for a franchise. Well done. The Giants, and you know what? It's tough. I'm a big Saquon Barkley fan. I don't know. I just is it the water? Is it the color? Is it the fact that there's two New York teams, and it's like the two quarterbacks, or if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. It's like the curse of Lawrence Taylor and Bill Belichick, or it's the curse of the Bills. Once Parcells and Belichick left, and the coach. No, I can't say that. Once I mean, is there something in the water? Is it the curse of the bill? Um, I don't know what it is. But the Giants just can't seem to get it right. Ever since Eli Manning managed to snag two Super Bowls under the entire world's nose, also known as New England, um, yeah, that Giants team it's almost like they sold their soul to get two Super Bowl rings, knowing they didn't deserve it. As good as that first team was, that second team should not have gone to that Super Bowl. More or less won. So I think the Giants teams. Shout out to Michael Strahan. Shout out to OCU Manura, JPP. That pass rush was the first group of. That was the first like group of a team that I remember growing up. Like, oh, the Giants pass rush, they were good. And so knowing how good those guys were, to see like not even a piece of that. Like once Tom Coughlin left and after those Super Bowls, it's been it's been not even downhill. That's an understatement. It's been free falling. And um either the Jets or with the Giants or the Jets. I just New York, get get it together, man. Like you can't be compared to California if we got a Super Bowl champ and you got two teams scraping for the barrel. I mean, come on now. Let's make it interesting out here. New York, come on. You got the Giants and the Jets. Pick one team, fund them, go flip the other team over to another city. Let's go put a team in Mexico. Let's make this game really international. Um all right. Let's go to the NFC West. What is it called? I'm gonna hit you with the trademark on the right up here. I'm biased on this opinion. Don't care. I'm a 49ers fan, and I do genuinely believe with the stats that we can win. We were 6-0 going into that NFC Championship game against the Rams, and if you look at the game, we should have won. I don't know what it is. Um, Kyle Shanahan in the regular season looks like he should be Coach of the Year every year. He makes our defense play good when we don't deserve to be performing as well. He makes running backs look like stars, borderline superstars, and get paid, a la Raheem. He is able to put together an offensive line and scheme this game that lets a game manager actually feel like you can argue he's a respectable quarterback. I think that that's the genius in him. That Jimmy G is nothing more than a game manager, and some people will argue that due to how he's played. And I think that that is nothing more than a testament, a curtsy, a bow, whatever you call it. Kudos to Kyle Shanahan. He did that. Mad respect. Great work. Now let's get Trey Lance in. We'll save that for next episode. At number 2, I got the LA Rams, Super Bowl champs. In most people's predictions, they're probably going to win the division. Um, I just see us taking both of our. I see the Niners taking both games off the Rams and us tying, but we'll get the tiebreaker because we beat them 2 times. I think this will be a close division. I think Arizona could easily win this division just as much as LA or we could. I think that Hollywood Brown signing is gonna definitely make the NFC West even more competitive than it always already is. Seattle, I mean, hey, good luck. Drew Lock, Geno Smith, whatever you're rocking up there, man, it's tough. I mean, Baker Mayfield's still available. I don't know why you don't want him. He's an upgrade over what you got. Can't sign a world beater when you just traded one. So have some reason, have some humility, and go do the right thing to get this rebuild on the right track, or at least make it as seamless of a transition as possible. But yeah, I got the Niners winning. I got the Rams finishing second. I got the Cards finishing third. But I also do have the Cards making the playoffs. So yeah. All right. On to the NFC North. This is and this is probably going to shock more people than the AFC West and me picking the Chargers. I got the Vikings winning this division. I think Aaron is gonna be surprised. I think people always love to slander how the Packers haven't drafted him star talent at the receiver position or tight end position, right? Like his only touchdown was to Jared Cook, or the only touchdown to a first rounder was Jared Cook, right? Never drafted a first round receiver, yada yada. You know the story. Jordan Love, all that stuff. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to realize that he just shot himself in the foot by taking that big contract. Shout out to Tyreek Hill. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. Congratulations. I'm not gonna say anything about you chasing your money, but I will say that with every action, there's a reaction. Tyreek Hill got his money. Now he doesn't get to play with Patrick Mahomes, easily the deepest ball thrower in the league today. Aaron Rodgers got his money. He doesn't get the best receiver in football now. And I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers is going to get affected more from losing Davante Adams than Tyreek Hill will be from losing Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill will not get deep bombs and stuff like that, but they're going to set up enough jailbreak screens to where Tyreek is still fast. Whether he puts on a Chiefs uni, a Dolphins uni, a college uniform, a CFL uniform, whether he goes to NFL Europe, he's still got that elite world running speed, no matter what uniform he has on. You throw a jailbreak play to him, it's going to work just as good as it was in any city, almost any weather. Yeah, I think that Aaron Rodgers is gonna realize that he made a mistake doing what he did. I'm not like criticizing him. I'm not trying to. I think you got your money. Hell, in fact, I'm jealous you got your money. That's a lot of money to get. But in the same breath, it's either winning or it's either financial success or competitive success. It's I've rarely seen both. Very few. The people who do both, we call those Hall of Famers, all-time greats, elite players. And even then, Tom Brady took pay cuts, but I digress. But yeah, I think Green Bay. I mean, I don't trust Chicago. Honestly, I think Chicago's going to do worse than Detroit this year. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's going to do some good damage out there. T.J. Hawkinson, he's a good tight end. I love my tight ends, so I'm always going to give them boys a shout-outs. But T.J. Hawkinson, he's good. I like him. Detroit offensive line underrated too. Very underrated. I don't think top 5, but definitely top 10. Probably closer to top 5 than top 10, but not top 5 yet for me. Yeah, but yeah, got Minnesota and Green Bay winning. Let's go Vikes. Dalvin Cook. Let's get it together. Come on. Last but not least, I got the NFC South. Again, this is kind of the same thing as the NFC East, in my opinion. If you don't pick Tampa Bay, you will get the drug test. I won't make you pay for shipping and handling though to return it. It's all good. It's all on me. I just need to make sure that you're sober and stable. Yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. Why? I mean, Gronk, Brady, it's what going to win you about 5-6 games right there alone. That's 2 out of a 53-man roster. So I think it's a pretty cookie cutter answer here. I think New Orleans will take second place, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Davenport is a dark horse like defensive player of the year. I think he really took that big step to the next level, and that helped get the Saints the number 1 running defensive football. And I mean, not to say that they're going to go up against a lot of rushing when you're in that division. I mean, except Carolina, which, with all due respect to McCaffrey, they're no different than the Giants. but yeah, I think this. I think Marcus Davenport could be a dark horse defensive player of the year candidate. Demario Davis, highly underrated linebacker in my opinion, highly underrated. I think is a really good guy. Marshawn Lattimore had a bit of an off year this year, but still top 10 corner. If he gets if he gets it back together, he's really good. He just needs to find his form. Happens to the best of them. Um, yeah, so that's what I think is going to finish first and second in each division this year. In terms of what I think the playoffs will look like, for the AFC, I have Buffalo finishing first, Baltimore second, Tennessee third, the Chargers fourth, the Patriots fifth, the Chiefs sixth, and the Bengals seventh. That's the exact order I have it in. I think Buffalo's got the easiest. I think Buffalo has the easiest time to win 4 or 5 games in their division, and in fact, that's why I picked Buffalo, Baltimore, and Tennessee as my top three. I think those three teams can easily win 4 or 5 games in their division, and that'll usually get you pretty high up in the ranking because if two teams have the same record, if you're doing better in your division, you'll get the nod. So I think that's why those three teams will do better. Yeah, then I got the Chargers at 4, Patriots at 5, Chiefs at 6, Bengals at 7. For the NFC, I got Tampa Bay at 1. I got the Niners at 2. Yes, the San Francisco 49ers at 2. At me, don't care. Number 3, I got the Cowboys. Number 4, I got the Vikings. Number 5, I got the Packers. 6, I have the 6, I have the Rams, and the 7, I have the Cardinals. It was tough because honestly, I spent about 5-10 minutes committing to myself to saying I do believe Minnesota is going to win this division, because if I wasn't so sure that they would win this division, I'd put Minnesota out of. I don't think Minnesota would make the playoffs if they don't win the division, and I would probably put Arizona 6, New Orleans 7. But I do believe that Minnesota will get through this year and win. So I think that the Saints are going to be the team that just misses out, which is tough, especially if I think that Marcus Davenport will play what I expect him to play. But again, there's a winner and there's a loser. So yeah, that's that's what I got so far. As in terms of how the playoffs will go, I actually have it game by game too. So of course, based on the first seed getting the bye, so Buffalo and Tampa Bay would be getting byes in my playoffs. So we'll go AFC wild card. I have the Chargers playing the Patriots first round. In LA, I got the Chargers winning that. I just think that Belichick can only get so far with his defense, and defense will win you championships, but I just I need Mac Jones to have a couple more years of game managing before I feel like I can give them the chance to win this game legitimately. I think that for now, home field advantage will be the difference maker in this game. Uh, Second game, I got Tennessee over Cincy. Again, that defense. If this game happens in real life, I think everyone who's listening to me or who doesn't listen to me knows that Derrick Henry is going to eat that defense up like a hobo on a ham sandwich. So as long as Ryan Tannehill doesn't flip the ball 57 times like he did last time they played, that should be pretty straightforward of a game in my opinion. And then the last game, this will be the interesting one. I got the Ravens over the Chiefs. It's in Baltimore, and I think that people are finally starting to catch up to Patrick Mahomes. I think that he's talented, best quarterback in football, best arm, arguably best arm in the league. Aaron Rodgers still might get some marks from me here and there, but I'll give Patrick the nod. Um, but yeah, I think that having a guy like Tyreek Hill who can get you 7 points in the blink of an eye is going to hurt them in the playoffs more than it will in any other time of the year. Because here's the thing about Andy Reid. Andy Reid, ballsy. This is the same dude who started a game with an onside kick. Opening kickoff was an onside kick. Ballsy gentleman. Absolutely respect it. You remember what happened in Houston? If it wasn't for the fact that it was the Houston Texans playing that football game and it was any other respectable franchise who had made the playoffs and playing against the Chiefs are getting blown out. They were dropping balls. Tyreek Hill wasn't scoring. Kelsey wasn't catching. And now you take away the fact that Tyreek Hill isn't even an option. You're going to have to matriculate the ball more down the field than you have in a very long time for the Chiefs. And I think it's going to take a couple seasons before Mahomes learns how to move the ball like that. Instead of saying, "Oh, Tyreek's open. I got the arm for that. Flip it over there." That's not going to work every time. It will work sometimes. I think it's going to work a lot less now that you have him. Because, yes, Mecole Hardman is good. I don't think people are going to worry about Mecole Hardman. Maybe that gives him more opportunities than Tyreek because they're not going to respect him. I just don't think they'll have the same production from them. And I think it's going to cost him in the playoffs, where 7 points out of nowhere hurts a lot more than any other time. Like, yeah, it sucks to get scored on, but in the playoffs, when you know if you lose, you're not going to have film to worry about next week or um taping yourself or how you feel. Like it's the stakes are different, obviously. So I think that Tyreek Hill being gone is going to affect them in the playoffs the most. From the NFC, I got first game, and this is actually going to be the shocker. I have Minnesota winning the division, but in the first game of the playoffs, I have Minnesota. I have Green Bay at Minnesota, and I have Aaron Rodgers going in there and beating them. Um, I like the new coach. I think that Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are just going to kind of bum rush them with veteranship. And it's going to be tough because I think that the Vikings should win this game. I think that if they play, they'll have a good chance of winning this game. But I think that Matt LaFleur is going to. I think Matt LaFleur and Aaron are going to do something that catches them off guard from the first two times they played in the season, and it's going to do something that's going to work. Yeah, I think that his veteranship will do good in this playoff game. I don't think he'll do good in the playoffs like a lot, but I think that going to Minnesota after not winning the division, in my mind, it makes sense that Aaron Rodgers would step up for that game and perform fairly well to secure a win. Okay. Second game, I got the Rams at Dallas, and I have the Rams winning that. I mean, look, the Niners walked in there last year, and minus us deciding to not play football in the fourth quarter, it was a pretty straightforward win. I mean, yes, you want to argue the whole ref thing, cool. Can't can't refute that. You're 100% correct. But if we're gonna be honest with each other, never should have gotten to that point. Jimmy G missed a couple throws that could have really ran the score up. Our defense started lollygagging a little bit. We gave them a chance to win just as much as they almost took it away from us. So I think the Rams will walk in there. I think Aaron Donald will make Dak piss himself. I think Jalen's gonna look at CeeDee Lamb and say, "Man, Amari's better. That's tough." Um, and then I think Cooper Cuff's gonna laugh and be like, "You let Brandon Ayuk snap you off, Trayvon Diggs. What do you think I'm gonna do to you?" I think that game's gonna get ugly quick. I don't trust Mike McCarthy. I don't think Dallas has any ice. I think Dak is flustered. I think Dak gets flustered. Yeah, I think the Rams make that game a little bit ugly, a bit of a high schoolish football game there. And then lastly, I got a New Orleans coming to San Fran, and I have San Fran locking that game up. I mean, no, sorry, not New Orleans. I have the Cardinals going to San Fran, and I have the Cardinals. I have the Niners. Sorry, I have the Niners locking that game up. Don't trust Kyler. Um, I think Cliff Kingsbury gets flustered, kind of like Kyle Shanahan does, but Cliff Kingsbury's younger, so I think he'll get flustered earlier in the playoffs. Um, yeah, I just think that on paper we're a better roster than them, and I think that our maturity and skill will get us past Arizona pretty cleanly. Um, yeah, pretty straightforward there. All right, now let's go on to the divisional of the AFC side. So based on how I predicted the wild card to go, the first matchup I have is Tennessee going to Baltimore, and I actually have Tennessee winning that game. I think that Derrick Henry is going to be too much for that front four to handle, and I believe Lamar Jackson is going to struggle under the pressure that Tennessee defense can apply. They do have some pretty good defense from pass rush and some secondary. Their secondary is probably better than their front seven. So I think just schematically, Tennessee is a good fit for going against Baltimore. I just have them win that game. The other one I have is the Chargers going to Buffalo, and I have Buffalo taking that game. I think that the Chargers Once they get here, we'll realize, man, we're fish out of water. We've never gone this far before. What are we supposed to do? Win? What's winning? And I think that Buffalo is just going to. I think once we get to the divisional round, I think this is where OJ Howard can really start making a name for himself and utilizing these double tight end formations to get 4 and 5 receivers out there and really start making these defenses contest with them and saying, "Hey, this is the firepower that we have. Do you have two linebackers that you trust can go sideline to sideline with our two tight ends?" Because they're most likely going you're most likely going to be running a normal formation against double tight because you can easily run the ball. Just you're more likely to run the ball with double tight ends than you are to pass. But knowing that offense with Sean McDermott, they like to pass the ball with double tight ends. So I think getting OJ Howard is an upgrade. So yeah, I got Buffalo taking out the Chargers in Buffalo. For the NFC side, I have San Francisco going to LA and beating them in LA. Minus the NFC Championship game, we had won the last 4 games in a row in LA. Whether it was at the no, actually since the new stadium, since SoFi, we've won the last 4 games in there minus the NFC Championship. In my opinion, we should have won that game. Um, Jimmy G just started playing like Jimmy G and what we all know and I hate him for. So, yeah, I think that we should have won that NFC Championship game and we should be Super Bowl champions. But I think that this time we'll exact our revenge and we'll let them know that we are still the better team than they are. Always have been, always will be. Next, I have Green Bay going to Tampa, and I have Tampa Bay winning that match. I think Tom Brady has never been a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, and I feel like he's someone who likes to like stick it to people every chance he gets. So I feel like he's gonna try and make a mockery out of Aaron Rodgers and that team. Maybe not Aaron Rodgers himself, but show that, hey, look at what you can do when you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Robert Gronkowski and all these other skilled players that are good, and not ask for a contract so big that you are forced to give up your best one. Yeah, so I got Tampa Bay going over Green Bay. I just don't think that offense is going to hold in the playoffs, which is tough. For the AFC Championship game, I got Tennessee going to Buffalo, and I have Buffalo winning that game. I believe that Buffalo's offense is going to be one of the best offenses in football, and I think it's going to be good enough to get them to the Super Bowl because I think this team will be carried by defense through the regular season. But obviously, once you get to the regular season, defense wins championships. So they're going to need to look at their offense to take that next step in the postseason. I think it has the potential to. I believe Stephon Diggs can become the best receiver in football come playoff time because, well, obviously I don't believe Devontae Adams and the Raiders will be there. I think Diggs could be the best receiver in the playoffs going in, and he could play like it. Like I said, I think Gabriel Davis is a nice number 2. I think OJ Howard's a highly underrated signing, and I think he's going to show it come playoff time. Yeah, I really like Buffalo. I got them going to the Super Bowl for the AFC. For the NFC, I have San Francisco going to Tampa, and I have Tampa Bay winning that game. I don't like saying that. It tastes salty when it left my mouth, but I got to be honest. This feels right. Tom Brady has a little bit of Michael Jordan in him, where I feel like he finds ways to hype himself up, whether it's real or not. And going against the Niners, he doesn't have to fabricate anything. I mean, this guy retired just to go behind everyone and ask us, hey, can I come play in San Francisco? I did grow up out here and watch Joe Montana play at Candlestick Park. And not once, but 2 times did Kyle Shanahan and his father, who's an advisor, Mike Shanahan, tell Tom Brady, we're good. So, as a scorned person who is considered the best football player to ever touch the gridiron, I wouldn't be surprised if he lights us up. I wholeheartedly believe that. on a Wednesday in June, I believe that come playoff time, he will light us up in the NFC Championship game. And it's going to be funny and ugly at the same time. But hey, I guess we should have said yes. Super Bowl, I got Tampa Bay and Buffalo. And this is where I'm probably going to get some more flack again. I have Buffalo beating Tampa Bay. I think that secondary is going to let them down like it did against the Rams, where Tampa Bay almost had that game won. They had come back. They were down like 21, 24 points or something. Tom Brady was doing it again. Tom Terrific coming back. But that secondary, man, I mean, once Antoine Winfield let Cooper Kupp up the seam, I mean, that's something you can't let happen. And I feel like I've seen it too many times. I think the year that none of that happened, they won the Super Bowl. So obviously, when this defense doesn't make mistakes, it has Super Bowl talent quality on it. They've done it recently. Not like they've done it before, but 6 years ago. This is 2 years ago. So they for sure have the skill to get there. I just haven't seen it since they got to the Super Bowl. So I think Buffalo is going to celebrate their first Super Bowl after going 0-4 with that team, which I still feel bad for, but I think this is Buffalo's year. I think they can build off of the defense that they had last year and become the best team in the National Football League. Yeah. So I got Buffalo win the Super Bowl over Tampa Bay. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting season. I hope it works, but I hope I'm right. I believe I'm right. I believe the stats couple me pretty well, but only time will tell, right? Oh well. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of our show. So, as it being the end of the show this week, I don't think I'm going to do this every week, but I'm going to do this probably maybe like once a month, once every other week. Maybe I'll probably do this once a week once football starts. But I just have a list of my top fives for each position right here, and I have the day as of 6:10, so a couple days old, but more or less fairly how I feel right now. Nothing's changed in the last 5 days to make me want to redo this list. So with that being said, let's get started. I'm gonna go through quarterbacks. I'm gonna go from offense to defense. The only thing is that I do have defensive linemen grouped up in standing rushers and hands in the dirt rushers. So for example, T.J. Watt and Aaron Donald are both in the same list, and T.J. Watt stands up and Aaron Donald is hand in the dirt. So yes, I do believe that a 3-4 rusher is the same as a 4-3 rusher. And for defensive backs, I only have corners this time. I'm going to make a safety list next week, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's get started into it. First, let's go quarterbacks. Number 1, I got Patrick Mahomes. 2, I got Brady. 3, I got Aaron Rodgers. 4, I have Russell Wilson. 5, I have Josh Allen. I'll probably go over like 2 or 3 of them. I don't think I need to run through most of the list. Can always have those debates in the comments, or if you want to personally ask why I said that, more than welcome to. I have ways of contact that I will put in the comment section below. But yeah, I put Russell Wilson at number 4 because I think this dude has the best touch in football in terms of like just being able to just the delicacy of floating something in there. It's like the one kid who can overhand chuck an egg, and yet he throws it so elegantly it just won't crack when someone catches it. It's just he has grace when he throws, and the athleticism. It's hard, in my opinion, to not put him in the top 5. I also had to see him twice a year for his whole career until now, so I have a little bit of a bias towards how good I think this dude is, but I think he is the 4th best quarterback in football. I wholeheartedly believe that. Going to running back, I have Derrick Henry at number 1, Jonathan Taylor at number 2, Alvin Kamara at number 3, Nick Chubb at number 4, and Dalvin Cook at number 5. I put AK there at 3, and I didn't put McCaffrey in because I think Alvin Kamara is a better running back than Christian McCaffrey is a better pass catching back. I think Christian McCaffrey is a good running back, and he's a great pass catching back. I think Alvin Kamara is a great running back and a great pass catching back. And on top of that, Alvin Kamara was actually able to make the Saints offense sound and look more respectable than it actually was. Christian McCaffrey isn't able to do that from the offensive lineman. Plus, he's a little bit injury prone, so that is tough. But I can't afford to give him that. Um, yeah, I got Alvin Kamara at number 3. Like I said, I think he's one of the better all around backs, especially in today's football. It's a pretty good skill to have. I put Nick Chubb at 4 just because I think he's probably the best. He's probably the second best in between the tackles runner right now. I mean, Derrick Henry, not fair to really compare anyone to him. Head and shoulders above the rest. Like I said, tight end, running back built like a tight end, kind of cheating. But Nick Chubb just has like this. I don't feel like he's super fast, but every time he breaks a run off, I don't see him get brought down. I don't see him have like breakaway speed or super quick acceleration, but he hits the hole, he gets past everyone, and he's not the easiest to bring down, and he scores once he usually gets past you more times than not. So I think that plus having a decent offensive line there is Nick Chubb setting himself up for a lot of success on top of Kareem Hunt. So, but yeah, I got Nick Chubb at number 4. Um, for receivers, let's go wide receivers. I have Davante Adams at number 1. I have DeAndre Hopkins at 2, Cooper Kupp at 3, Justin Jefferson at 4, and Jamar Chase at 5. Um, I put D Hop at number 2 because when he comes back and he plays and he's 100% healthy, he will be the second best receiver in football. Like, was he hurt? Yes, but he's not someone that gets hurt a lot. And when he did get hurt, whether it was in Houston or in Arizona, you saw the impact. Like, they went from being the hottest team in football to they look like they don't know what they're doing out there. I mean, that's how talented this guy is. That he's that missed when he's gone. So I think that someone like that can't be left out of the top 5. And I personally think D Hop was the best receiver in football, and then Davante Adams just became the meanest route runner anyone's seen so far. So I don't think DeAndre Hopkins actually got worse. I just think Davante Adams got better. And D Hop's always going to have the best hands in football because they're basically as good as you can get. He's a great jumper, right? Like, that's his thing. And Davante Adams learned has a little bit of the jump ball ability, but with the route running, I think it just kind of put him over D Hop a little bit, being a better route runner and creating a little bit more separation. If Cooper Kupp has another good year, though, I have to put him in front of D Hop. Can't argue that. Had the best single season statistic year for a wide receiver. But he did it once. I'm not a believer in one hit wonders. I need to see it twice before I give him the nod to go number 2. But yeah, I got Cooper Kupp at number 3 for my receivers. For tight ends, I have George Kittle at 1, Travis Kelce at 2, Mark Andrews at 3. Then I got Darren Waller at 4 and Kyle Pitts at 5. I have Kittle over Kelce because I think the gap between Kittle's and Kelce's blocking skill is bigger than the gap between Kelce's and Kittle's receiving skill. I think Kittle's close enough to Kelce. He's not super close, but I think he's close enough to where the gap between the blocking ability has to be brought into consideration. I think Kittle is the third best receiving tight end in football behind Kelce and Darren Waller. But I think that being the third best receiving tight end in football and the hands down best blocking tight end in football, that's you can't get much better than that. You're basically the best of both worlds. And if you can be really good or all-time good at 2 things, you're probably going to have a really successful career and be talented and be highly regarded in your position. I put Kyle Pitts at 5 just because I think that he helped Cordero Patterson do fairly well this year by being able to make the middle of the field interesting. Whether he ran into the middle of the field and let Cordero Patterson go outside, or whether Kyle Pitts ran outside and let Cordero have the middle, or whether Kyle Pitts ran farther up the field and let Cordero have the short patterns. Because remember, Cordero Patterson was a receiver at first. So Kyle Pitts is able to scheme him open, or Kyle Pitts has been able to get him open just off of his ability of what he can do. So I really like Kyle Pitts. Think he's going to have a good career in the league. Wouldn't be surprised if we say he's a top 3, top 2 tight end in football one day. Yeah. Now let's go to offensive linemen. Offensive linemen I did by teams, just because each position is graded differently, and each person's going to be graded differently based on scheme, size, fit, and all that. So I just did it based on groups of 5. So for offensive linemen, number one, I got Tampa Bay. I think part of why Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay. He's not going to leave a system that he knows is a guaranteed winner unless he felt like he could go do it somewhere else. And part of playing, part of being a New England Patriot all those years with Belichick and Brady was you knew they were going to have one of the best offensive linemen in football, or best offensive lines in football. Not only due to his quick release, but just there was always good guys that they had. Shaq Mason. Um, they took Trent Thomas. Um, they took Trent Thomas, who the 49ers drafted, the 6'7" tackle. Um, went to New England, balled, and then got a major paycheck in Oakland when they were still in Oakland. Um, so the Tom Brady has always been able to have good offensive lines around him, and I think with Tristan Wirfs, Ryan Jensen, and all these guys that they have, this is easily the best offensive line in football. Number 2, I got Indianapolis, and if it probably wasn't for the fact that Brady was the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I might I think on a different day I might try and make an argument for myself that Indy is the best offensive line in football. Honestly, just having Quentin Nelson alone, I'd probably put him at 5 or 6. But with Ryan Kelly and Braden Smith, I mean, honestly, if the Colts, like if Jonathan Taylor does better or is just as good or if not better than he was last year, I feel like I'm going to have to really sit there and look like, is Indy the best offensive line in football? Because this is kind of a crapshoot. These are two really great offensive lines. Um, one's more pass specialized, one's more run specialized, but both are great in the other as well. So yeah, these are two. These are it's kind of these two, and then I think it drops off a little bit at number 3 through the rest. But yeah, those are the big two I got there. Number 3, I got San Francisco. Then at 4, I got the Cleveland Browns. And then at 5, I got the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, I can't believe as a San Francisco 49er fan, I'm giving Dallas Cowboys any credit. And honestly, after talking with a couple of people about this, I don't know if Dallas deserves to be a number 5. But I will say this much. Tyron Smith is a dog. Zach Martin is a dog. Terrence Steele is really good, and he's going to do well for that team. I think that the guards are good enough to where those 3 guys can, or I think the other 3 guys are good to where Zach Martin and the tackles can carry those other 2 guys. And they know they're not going to have to worry about run blocking as much. So pass pro is somewhat easier on your body compared to run blocking. I think that with those guys being older, it's going to do them favors. So I have Dallas penciled in at number 5. Could change as early as week 1 or week 2, but right now I got them as the 5th best offensive line in football. Let's go to defensive linemen. Number 1, I got Aaron Donald. Pretty straightforward. Number 2, I got T.J. Watt. 3, I got Nick Bosa. 4, I got Myles Garrett. And 5, I got Von Miller. I put T.J. Watt at number 2 because had he not missed the Week 3 game at Cincinnati, where you could probably pencil him in for 2 sacks, and the Week 11 game at the Chargers, where if he wasn't lined up against Rashawn Slater all game, he's probably getting a sack and a half as well there. T.J. Watt just tied the record for the most sacks in a single season and missed 2 games. I'll let you put that in perspective, how he's still number 2. That's a testament to Aaron Donald, but that should also show you what type of animal this guy is. He missed 2 games and almost broke the record. The record was broken playing 16 full games. The NFL added an extra game, and he almost did it while missing 2 of them. It's pretty special of a season, if you ask me, but I digress. I put Von Miller at number 5 only because he changed the Rams. I think that the Rams don't win the Super Bowl without Von Miller. I think that Aaron Donald would get double and triple team still, and Leonard Floyd's good, but Leonard Floyd was really good when he had Von Miller and Aaron Donald next to him, as anyone would be, because Leonard Floyd's good, but he's not great. I think that both Aaron Donald and Von Miller were able to benefit off of each other, getting one-on-one pass rushing opportunities more often than they ever have in their career, probably. So I have Von Miller penciled in at 5. Yeah, I think that his elite Hall of Fame skill pass rushing is still there, and he's decent enough of a run blocker to where he's gonna make Buffalo still the best. Buffalo will still have the best defensive football after this year, and Von Miller will make that pass rush more respectable. To couple with that secondary, yeah, that's that's over with. All right, let's go linebackers. Number 1, I have Fred Warner. Then number 2, I have Bobby Wagner. Number 3, I have Eric Kendricks. Number 4, Darius Leonard. And number 5, Levante David. I put Fred above Bobby because honestly, I mean, you could probably ask me this question in like 15 or 20 minutes, and I'd probably and there's a chance I might say Bobby, but Fred Warner is more athletic, and Bobby's a sure tackler. But in today's game, where sideline to sideline speed is the name, Fred's got more than Bobby Wagner does, and because I have to give it to him. So, but don't get me wrong, this is not. This is these are two animals who are right next to each other on the tier list. So I got a Darius Leonard at 4 just because I think he's the heart and soul of that Indianapolis defense. I think DeForest Buckner's good. I think he's really good, actually. I like Kenny Moore. I think he's good. But I think Darius Leonard is what makes that defense kind of run and flow and gel. And I think that a leader, a star player who's also a leader, always will get high marks. And I think that he's a really good box-to-box tackler, great run stuffer. That's why they have Okereke, who's the sideline guy. So, yeah, I got Darius Leonard at 4. Last but not least, I have the cornerbacks. Number 1, I got Jalen Ramsey. Number 2, Jair Alexander. Number 3, Marshawn Lattimore. Number 4, Xavier Howard. And number 5, AJ Terrell. I put Marshawn at number 3 because of just like DeAndre Hopkins. When he comes back and plays, he had an off year last year. I'll accept that. But when he comes back and plays, he will be on his I think he will play good again. I think he'll go back to the form because like I said, I believe him and Marcus Davenport will be really good this year for that team. I think Marshawn Lattimore is the third best cornerback in football, arguably 2 with Jair. If you want to have that debate when he's hitting really good form and maybe Jair's a little off, you can make that argument. But when they're both on, I think Marshawn Lattimore is the third best corner in football, and that's where I have him penciled in. I put AJ Terrell at 5 because I think this dude probably had the single biggest breakout season out of anyone in the NFL. I mean, obviously, I'm probably going to miss a guy or two where it was blasphemous that I didn't think of this person, but I mean, this guy went from just being, I mean, he got thrown into the number 1 spot and he held his own. I mean, he he wasn't out here getting exposed. I mean, the Falcons defense wasn't great, but it wasn't his fault either. I mean, Deion Jones being hurt the middle of the field, their pass rush is borderline high school worthy. I mean, he was holding his own out there with not much help. So he for sure got a lot of marks and made a name for himself this year. So I got him in at number 5. But yeah, it looks like that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about sports. I hope you agree and disagree with my opinions because there's no better debate than a healthy one that with people who care and believe in what they say. So if you have anything you want to talk about, whether it's what I said or anything else, always welcome to talk. I'm gonna put my social media stuff down below, so if there's anything else you want to talk about or any comments you'd have, please just let me know. I'm starting off, so I'm going to try and take in as much feedback, good and bad, as I can. Sorry this is a little bit raw on the edges, but this is what the first episode's like. It's only going to get better from here. I promise, guys. This is the first step to something better. It will be. I enjoyed doing this, and I hope you guys enjoyed hearing my voice. I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Till then, stay good.